Hi, welcome to chemistry class. My name is Odusola Lekon Adiola, and this video is brought to you by Igota Virtual Learning. In today's video, we are going to be looking at the physical and the chemical changes. The physical and the chemical change. This topic is a top topic under the particular nature of matter, and then we are trying to look at the changes of matter. Basically, there are two major changes that matter undergo. One of them is a physical change, and the second one is a chemical change. So matter can either undergo a physical change or a chemical change. Now let's look at a physical change. A physical change occurs when a substance changes but no new substance is formed. A physical change occurs when a substance changes but no new substance is formed. It could occur when the state of substance changes, talking about change of state or phase, and then whether a substance is crushed, grounded, or cut into smaller pieces. In most cases, even in all cases, physical changes are often easy to reverse. A physical change could be as a result of a change in size, shape, or form. For instance, if you take a chip, a marble chip, or you even take a chalk, for instance, a chalk is quite handy, like what we are seeing here, or a drug, and then you decide to put it into powder. And then, for instance, you can also take a charcoal. You can start with the granules. Then from the granules, you can cut it and make it smaller shapes, like a lump, and then you can grind it again and make it a powder. You can have granules, lump, and powder. And these are just changes in sizes, in shape, or in form of a particular substance. So when there is a change in size, shape, or form of a substance, is also a physical change. Another one is when there is a change of state. For instance, water. When you have an ice block and you heat up an ice block, it becomes water. When you take that water, that liquid water now, when you take that water and put it inside freezer, it becomes a solid again. It becomes ice again. So what you have necessarily done is to change the state from solid to liquid, then back to solid. And then sometimes if you can heat the water and then you see that there is a vapor or steam that is going off, that means the water changes from liquid to gas. And then immediately you look at the lid of your pot, you see that there is some water. That means the gaseous water have condensed as well. So if there is a change of state, if there is a change in size, and then number three, the change is reversible. It can be easily reversed. You can have, like I've said, you can make ice block to become water by heating it up, and you can make that water again become ice block by putting it inside freezer. It becomes an ice block again. So the change is easily reversible. So when a change is easily reversible, when there is a change of state, when there is a change in size or form, we are talking about a physical change. Now, a chemical change or chemical reaction generally occurs when there is a new substance that is being formed. So chemical change is a change in which a new substance is formed and it is not easily reversible. So these are some of the things you see in a chemical change. They are evident in number one, there is a change in color, a gas is given off, a new solid is formed, there is a change in temperature, or various substances might be formed in the process. So these are evidences of a chemical change. Number one, you have a color change. For instance, this is an iron. You could see them in a nail. When you have a nail, you just bought it, then over time, as a result of um, rain and the likes, it becomes this. So the iron has rust. So there is rusting of iron could be, so it changes from this silvery color to this reddish brown. So when there is a change in color, you have a chemical change. When there is a precipitate form of that substance, like we are seeing here, we have a chemical change. When there is production of gases, that could happen when you have a metal, when you put a dilute mineral in a metal. On the metal, there is usually evolution of gases. So when there is evolution of gases or bubble of gases, we call that effervescence. There is a chemical change. When heat or light are produced, for instance, melting of candle wax, burning of substances, when heat or light are produced, you have a chemical change as well. And then, of course, another thing is when the change is difficult to reverse, you also have a chemical change. So quickly, we look at the differences between physical and chemical change. Number one, a physical change is temporary. That means after some time you can take it back to the initial state. But a chemical change is permanent. You can't change it. Then you have in physical change, no new substance is formed during the change. It's just you are changing the form and the structure of that. No new substance is formed. For instance, the water that you change that we said the other time is still water. It's just that you have water in form of ice, water in form of liquid, and water in form of steam. So there is no new substance. It's still the same water. But in chemical change, a new substance is formed entirely. Number three, there is no change in mass. This is experimentally proven. If the amount of substance A that changes to substance B, for instance, the amount of the mass of ice that change to water, if you measure them at the end of the experiment, you get the same mass. So there is no change in mass in physical change. But in chemical change, there is always a change in mass. And then another difference that is not here is that physical change is easily reversible. Chemical change is not easily reversible. Then the next one is no energy or small energy is involved during physical change. Energy in form of heat, especially in form of heat, is involved during a chemical change. And then we have the various examples there that you can write. So these are ways that by which you can differentiate between physical and chemical change. So let's quickly look at this WAEC question. I will look at this 1993 WAEC question. Classify each of the following as a physical or chemical change. Fractional distillation of liquefied air, cracking of petroleum fraction, conversion of rhombic sulfur to monoclinic sulfur, then chromatographic separation of chlorophyll. Can you quickly do this? Convert this to answer this question. Answer this question. Have you been able to answer it? Okay, let me walk you through the answers. The number one is physical change. Number one is physical change. Why? Because it involves, the question says fractional distillation of fractional distillation is a separation method, and we are one of the separation techniques, and we use separation techniques for mixture, and as a result it's involving two liquids. And which can be reversed to gases when they are heated again. So it can be reversed. Because it can be reversed, it is a physical change. Number two, you have a cracking of petroleum. In the cracking of petroleum fraction, you have petrol, diesel, gas, natural gas, and the likes. So it has formed new substances generally, and as a result, it is a chemical change. And those new substances cannot be reversed to the crude oil that we have. And then number three, we look at monoclinic to conversion of wombic sulfur to monoclinic. Both wombic and monoclinic sulfur are allotropes, and one of the properties of allotropes that they are elements in the same physical state. So since they are in the same physical state, and that means it's a physical change because it will be easily reversed. Then number four is you have talked about chromatography, separation of chlorophyll. Chromatography is also a separation technique used to separate colors, and as a result it can be reversed, and then no new substances is formed because it's the color in that chlorophyll that you are extracting. So as a result, it is important that we take note of these answers. Okay. There is also a question, 2017 WAEC question, which is what is a chemical? The question is what is a chemical change, and then give two examples of a chemical change. Now, the answer is quite simple. When you're answering the question, you say a chemical change is one which is not reversible. We can also put easily reversible there. So that's why it's in a bracket. You can say a chemical change is one which is not reversible, or you put a chemical change is one which is not easily reversible. That one can be marked, and then you can also say a chemical change is one in which no new substance is formed. You will get your full mark either saying by then. Then of course, if you say a chemical change is one which is not easily reversible and no new substance is formed, you will still get your mark. So this is 2 marks. Either way, you are very correct. And then the second question says examples. So you have to write 2 examples. So I gave you about 7 examples here. You can pick any 2 of them. It's good that you study them, and then of course you give 2 examples in that question as you've been said. Okay, having said that, let's quickly do a summary of what you have learned today. We have learned about physical and chemical change, and we have said that a physical change is one that is in which no new substance is formed and is easily reversible. And then we have said a physical change occurs when there is change in size, shape, or form. Change in state is reversible, and a chemical change is one in which a new substance is formed and is evident in change in color, a precipitate form, when you have a bubble of gas being produced, when heat and light are produced, and we say it's difficult to reverse. Then we looked at the differences between physical and chemical change, and then we answered some questions. I hope with this you have learned a lot about physical and chemical change. Make sure you go through these slides again and continue to learn chemistry. Thank you and bye-bye.